I was running in circles, chasing every little light, searching for a feeling that would hold me through the night. Every road I followed only left me more alone, till your love broke through the silence and you showed me something true. All the shadows fall away when you call me by name, and suddenly I know I'm not alone. 'Cause Jesus, you're the meaning that I've been trying to find, the heartbeat in the quiet, the peace inside my mind. Every step, every breath, you're pulling me into the truth. I found my purpose. I found my purpose in you. I was holding on to moments that were never gonna last, living in the memories of the past. But you opened up my eyes to something deeper than the pain. Now I'm walking in the freedom that I found when you came into my life. All the fear just fades away when you lift my soul again, and suddenly I know I'm not alone. 'Cause Jesus, you're the meaning that I've been trying to find, the heartbeat in the quiet, the peace inside my mind. Every step, every breath, you're pulling me into the truth. I found my purpose. I found my purpose in you. You turn my wandering into wonder, my broken pieces into thunder, a louder song inside my chest. You write the story I can't question, a love that leads me to my blessing, and in your arms I know I'm found again. 'Cause Jesus, you're the meaning that I've been trying to find, the heartbeat in the quiet, the peace inside my mind. Every step, every breath, you're pulling me into the truth. I found my purpose. I found my purpose. Yeah. The wind was screaming my name, rain falling hard on my face. I was barely holding on to the faith I almost lost. Every step felt heavier, every night felt way too long. I was drowning in the waves, wondering where I went wrong, when my strength was gone and I couldn't stand. I felt your presence reach for my hand. You pulled me through the storm when I couldn't breathe, held me above the water when the waves were over me. I was breaking, I was torn, but you never let me go. You pulled me through the storm and you your voice cut through the noise like a light I hadn't found. In the middle of the chaos, hope was breaking down. I was on my knees, calling out your name. You stepped into the storm, and everything changed. You pulled me through the storm. Chain is breaking now. Every fear is losing ground. What tried to take me out couldn't keep me down. You pulled me through the storm, gave me strength to stand, turned my weakness into faith, put my life back in your hands. I was shaken, I was worn, but your love outlasted it all. You pulled me through the storm and now I'm standing tall. I'm still here, still believing, still holding on. 'Cause you pulled me through the storm.
Realize I am not God. I admit that I am powerless to control my tendency to do the wrong thing and that my life is unmanageable.
Blessed are those who in spirit.
For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:3. Earnestly believe that God exists, that I matter to him, and that he has the power to help me recover. Are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Matthew 5:4. Consciously choose to commit all my life and will to Christ's care and control. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Matthew 5:5. Openly examine and confess my hurts, hang-ups, and habits to myself, to God, and to someone I trust. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Matthew 5:8. Voluntarily submit to any and all changes God wants to make in my life and humbly ask him to remove my character defects. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Matthew 5:6. Evaluate all my relationships, offer forgiveness to those who have hurt me, and make amends for harm I've done to others when possible, except when to do so would harm them or others. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Matthew 5:7. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Matthew 5:9. Reserve a daily time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer in order to know God and his will for my life and to gain the power to follow his will. Happy are those who celebrate recovery. Yield myself to God to be used to bring this good news to others, both by my example and my words. Blessed are those who are persecuted because of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:10. All right. So tonight's lesson is about breaking the chains of denial. And it's the first step in recovery. So this may take us a couple lessons to get through, and I don't mind. I will take as much time as each person needs during any of our Celebrate recoveries. So please, if we don't finish tonight, I'll be back next week to pick up where we left off. Denial is often the first and most significant barrier to recovery, as it prevents individuals from acknowledging their struggles and seeking help. In this lesson, we'll focus on understanding denial's role in addiction, mental health challenges, and your path to healing. Acknowledging the realities of our struggles is crucial for growth and healing. I hope this encourages you to reflect on the areas of your life where you may be in denial, and to explore how recognizing truth can lead to transformation and recovery. Denial is not just a psychological barrier. It is a spiritual issue that requires honesty, humility, and sometimes the support of a community. By facing our realities, we can experience God's grace and healing in our lives. Throughout the scriptures, Jesus interacts with those in denial about their condition, most notably in the stories of the woman at the well and the prodigal son. These narratives show that Jesus offers compassion, confrontation, and ultimately a way out of denial towards healing and restoration. The big idea here is that true recovery begins when we confront and acknowledge the denial in our lives, allowing God's grace to pave the way for healing and transformation. I think tonight's lesson is really important because I do think that, I spent 13 years in the droves of opioid addiction. I only spent the last year of my opioid addiction also consuming alcohol. But I'll tell you, the denial factor until I was knocked to my knees was the whole thing that kept me from getting better and seeing what people were telling me. And as you learn this, you'll see that, we keep secrets, we deny. And I can look back on that point in my life, and I remember so many times my husband saying, I know you're drinking. You just fell down outside. You just slammed your knee. It's wide open. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't had one today. What are you talking about? And that was the denial. Now, when I was writing this lesson, it actually clicked in my head. It is the most important piece because that was the piece that was missing for me. And because I wasn't willing to quit denying everything, I never healed myself to the point where I was able to save my marriage or anything further. Denial has been defined as a false system of beliefs that are not based on reality and a self-protecting behavior that keeps us from honestly facing the truth. Again, a self-protecting behavior. As kids, we learn various coping skills. For a time, these coping skills worked, but as the years progressed, these coping skills confused and clouded our view of the truth of our lives. As we grow, our perception of ourselves and our expectations of all of those around us also grew. But because we retained childish methods of coping, our perceptions of reality became increasingly more unrealistic and distorted. Our coping skills grew into denial, and most of our relationships ended up broken or less fulfilling than they could have been. Did you ever deny that your parents had problems? Did you ever deny that you had problems? Truth is, we can all answer yes to this question to some extent. But for some of us, that denial has turned to shame and guilt. You're more than welcome to have soda, popcorn. Do we have? Hey, they'll make you a cup right now. There we go. There we go. Welcome to Celebrate Recovery.
Glad to see you back again. Oh, yeah. Glad to see everybody, too. I just got off work.
Hey, it's okay. We're glad to have you. Miss April, do I have any of these left over there? So, as we can all answer yes to the question to some extent, like I said, for many of us, that denial turned to shame and to guilt, right? My denial came from my childhood with my father, which led to my addiction. And the denial that I had from, as a kid, when you're a kid and you're in that position, especially with your own parent, there obviously is a lot of shame and guilt to the situation. And so I learned at a very young age to begin to deny what was happening to me to deal with everything that was going on. So I learned at a very young age that denial process, which in many years later, during my addiction process, that denial played a major role from my childhood because I had learned at a young age how to cover it up, cover my secret up. Nobody knew what my father was doing. Nobody could see those things. And when we deny, you get into that addiction process. It doesn't matter that it's your husband. It doesn't matter if it's your kid slapping you in the face with what you have, that your addiction is. You're still going to deny. So, number 1, the D stands for disables our feelings. Hiding our feelings, living in denial, freezes our emotions and binds us. Understanding and feeling our feelings is where we find freedom. The basic test of freedom is not what you are free to do, but it is what you are free to not do. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. I figured this out. Like the reason why when I thought about this one, the reason that one hit me so hard is I was like, it's true, because when I was smoking, I kept thinking to myself, well, no one will see me smoking this cigarette, so no one's gonna know, right? They'll never know. My girlfriend at work would say, what are you doing? Oh, I'm going downstairs, take a walk around outside. So when I would do, and then I'd go down and I'd have a cigarette. Who was I hurting in that denial, in that deny process that I was in? I was hurting myself. I was disabling my own capabilities of the freedom. And now I've realized I'm free from smoking and I'm happy, and I don't have to like make up the story, and there's freedom in it, right? So I found that I was free. My freedom came from being free to choose what I wanted to do and not allow something to control me. E, energy lost. A major side of denial is anxiety. Anxiety causes us to waste precious energy dealing with past hurts and failures and the fear of the future. And that has got to be, for everyone in this room, anxiety can cripple you at any given point. But I can look back on all the times that I denied, and the anxiety that I felt from denying what I was doing was just as bad. That anxiety was so intense, as like I would walk away and be like, nobody realized, yeah, nobody. And who was I fooling? So the anxiety, though, once I got to where I needed to sit, I was like, oh, nobody knows, okay. And the next day I would wake up and the anxiety again would come with the denial of, okay, did anyone pay that in? Did anyone really see the truth? Because I denied my action. So now I got to live with the anxiety of, did anyone see the action that I did? Same with my cigarettes that I have recently quit smoking. I could walk outside and have a cigarette. I've been quit 3 months, and I've had a couple of slip-ups, but I will say, after smoking 20 some odd, 20, 30 years, I think it was, I think I'm doing pretty good. Every now and then I'll get a little stressed, and I'll go out, I'll light one up, and then I'm like taking 2 or 3 puffs. And I could go out there and do it without my sister seeing it and hide it and do all those things, but is it doing me any good to do that? No. It causes me anxiety to be hiding it from her, to be sitting out on the porch. Hurry up, get it in. In Psalms 146:7, who executes justice for the oppressed, who gives food to the hungry, the Lord sets the prisoners free. Worrying about our past and dreading our future makes us unable to live and enjoy God's plans for our present. If you transfer the energy required to maintain your denial into learning God's truth, a healthy love for others and yourself will grow. How many of you feel like you lose a lot of energy because you spend a lot of your time trying to mend things in these relationships that are fractured because of addiction? And so the energy lost between the anxiety and all that, it all circles back to that denial piece. And we really have to take a look at we could be spending our time praying to Jesus and getting that good energy. Whenever you pray, do you feel that energy? Like when you're done praying, it feels good, right? Or when we hear a song that we really like we did tonight, it got us going, right? It got us started for this evening's plans. Whenever we spend all of our time in denial and we're losing that energy, we no longer have time. We don't have energy to put into coming to CR, committing ourselves to our plan of not being addicted, staying on the right path. Our energy gets so wasted as long as we're denying. Sorry. All right, number 3, it negates growth. We are as sick as our secrets, and we cannot grow in recovery until we are ready to step out of our denial and into the truth. In Psalms 107:13-14, then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he saved them from their distress. He brought them out of darkness and gloom and broke their bonds apart. As you begin your road to recovery, you will continue to understand that God never wastes a hurt or the darkness that you have traveled. But he can't use it to repair you unless you step out of your denial into the light of his truth. And I'm going to stop right there because this one kept digging at me, and it's still digging at me. There's something that is connecting me to this negates the growth. We are as sick as our secrets. Many of you in this room know my father's in prison for life plus 65 years. For anyone that hasn't heard my testimony, think about it. If he's there, life plus 65 years, I put him there. He didn't murder nobody. That's his crimes against his kids. So, our secrets. I was so sick till I was 20 years old, because I had never, ever told anyone the deep, deep secrets. And those secrets kept me so sick and so hurt that it ate away at me, to the point of, by the time I was 23 and had my first operation, and I still had all them secrets still tucked away, because I only told one person. I didn't tell the whole world. I had gone through a trial, and when I went through that trial, I will tell you, a trial, that trial took us 4 years to get through, and it was exhausting. And after getting there and exposing, here's the thing, I didn't expose my secrets to my best friends or anyone. It wasn't until 1999 when I sat in a booth and told 12 people that I did not know those deep, dark secrets. And what I like to look, when I look back at that, when I explain it to people, it was like Pandora's box. Like I had taken all those secrets from all of those years and just buried them and kept burying them and burying them. And then at that trial, when I got on that witness stand and I had to start getting it back out of me, that opened that box. And when it opened it, that's what slung me into addiction. Because the secrets that I had held, even though it was a secret that most people will hold, especially when it's their own parent, you will keep them secrets deep and dark within you. But when they come out, it can cause a whole lot of problems. So we are as sick as our secrets. That doesn't mean you need to go exposed, and go into things as like I had to as a child. I had to get those secrets out at a trial, and that's what I can relate back to y'all as, is when those secrets finally came out of my mouth, it opened Pandora's box. And then I couldn't get anything to shut up. So what did I do? I self-medicated. I became a self-medicator. For everything I said I wouldn't do, I wouldn't become, I wasn't going to do all of these things, I didn't realize that one moment in life can catapult you in a whole nother direction. And, my youngest sister says the same thing, she, being in the military, she was in the Navy and everything. After she got back from Iraq, Afghanistan, she went to Afghanistan first and Iraq second. So when she got back from Iraq, she had known this military guy for many, many years, and they were the best of friends. He had asked her to go out with him that night, and she said, I don't feel good, can't go. And the next day, she got a phone call that night that she had chose not to go with him. Someone had shot and killed him over a cigarette. Fought in 2 wars and came back home to be shot by one of those guys that had a 6 over a cigarette. My sister tells me to this day, she began to see herself spiral. And she had watched me and the middle sister already spiral into addictions and not be able to face them and all. And she realized that there was that one moment that just catapulted her into, I can go this way, and I can do it the right way, and I can go to counseling, or I can go this way, the same as my sisters. Thank God she went to counseling. She never went down the addiction road. But that's only because, I swear, it's because she watched the 2 of us, and she's seen that there were instances in our lives that catapulted us into that. And when you're holding secrets inside of you, it only takes that one instance to catapult you either into addiction, or back to. It causes you to relapse. So that's why getting your secrets out and admitting and not denying is so important. to recovery. And, you know, I read that God never wastes the hurt or the darkness that you travel. As I stand here today before you, Miss April can tell you, anyone can tell you, I wouldn't think that I would be standing here, that my hurt or my darkness would ever help anyone in my life. So to be standing here before you, I have to say that if I had not fallen to my knees in 2017 and said, "Dear God, help me," I wouldn't be here today. So that means he didn't waste the hurt that I went through, that I felt like, you know, I was this disgusting human being for. He didn't waste all that. All the nights that I spent in darkness, crying to myself, screaming, wanting to know why me, God, why me? I know today why now. Because he needed me here before you guys today to speak my story to you, to anyone in this room that hasn't heard my story, to understand that I didn't go to rehab to stand here before you today. I did it on my own. It was 13 years of addiction. 13 solid years of addiction. Lost my husband, lost my children, went through it all. But it was God that made me drop to my knees and say, "God, help me. You're the only one that can save me." In my darkest hour, he took all of that pain and hurt from the time I was born in 1976 to 2017, when I fell on my knees and said, "Dear God, show me the way. I can't do this. And I don't want to go to rehab. I can't afford that, but I don't want to die. And I've lost everything. I had lost my husband, my home, my kids, my cars, my job, everything. Because I had spent so many years denying. The secrets finally came out and ate me in 2017, and I finally realized he is the only one that can turn this around. And in that moment, remember I said to you earlier, anytime we pray, you feel this joy, this significance that overcomes you, that makes you want to get up and go. I got up in that very moment, never drank another drink, and I can go out to a bar and have one drink and not touch another one. I can take one pill and not touch another one. There was a time in my life, you weren't getting me to do any of that. I even told Bruce the other night, everyone knows Mom had a procedure this past week. She got a whole bottle of medication sitting there, right? And I'm like, the old me, that wouldn't have sat there for 10 minutes. It's still sitting there. It's been sitting there all week. I haven't touched it. And I told Bruce, I said, I'm actually proud of myself because I think that's the first time anyone's left anything around me. Because how many of us feel guilty too once we start going down this recovery road? Because we've spent all these years denying, now no one believes us when we say, I didn't do it, right? So it's like, well, now they don't believe me in this. So then we turn and we relapse. But we have to get it out and understand that denial caused this peace for us. This is what continues to get people to not want us around or not trust us, you know. I mean, I was surprised that Mom left it. I really was. And I think it was God in his own way saying, I want to show you the power you have right now. And that was that freedom that I have, that freedom that we were talking about earlier, that I don't have all the anxiety of, is Mom going to count? Is Mom going to see? When I was drinking, you know, we all choose certain alcohols. I would choose one that I could water it, make it look like a whole lot of water in there, right? And you'd never know. And what I was so retarded. Like, I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, this is, and let me measure how much water. These are all the things. And then all the anxiety that came over just knowing the denial piece of that. The denial of knowing that what was sitting on top of the freezer wasn't really what was in that bottle. It was just water. So there was anxiety. I would sit and I would sweat and I would be, oh my Lord, I wonder, is he going to go pour? Is he going to go do? Oh, and then I would walk by the refrigerator. Anyone touched it? Anyone touched it? No, no one's touched. Oh, great. You know, I mean, you guys feel me? It's the anxiety that you feel. You feel anxiety denying it to them, and then all the anxiety of hoping that they don't recognize it finally. And typically, they do recognize it. They've seen it. They already know. They already know you've lied to them. Number 4, I isolates us from God. Adam and Eve are the best example of how secrets and denial separate us from our true fellowship with God. After they had sinned, they hid from God because they felt naked and ashamed. In Genesis 3:12, the man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree, and I ate." First, he tries to blame God, saying, "The woman you put here with me." Then he tried to blame Eve. "She gave me some fruit." How many of us have found ourselves shifting blame to someone else during our addiction? Anybody? Yeah, I know. You know, my sister, she's the one out in Texas. You know, she's still in the very depths of alcohol, and it really bothers me because I constantly see her shifting blame to others and to her children. Is the thing is because her kids are grown now. So now the blame for things happening, and it's not her fault, it's her girl's fault. So that's where, you know, not only does it isolate us from God, it destroys everything between us and our families. And we have to remember that God's light shines on the truth. Our denial is what keeps us in the dark. Number 5, alienates us from our relationships. Our denial not only isolates us from God, but it also alienates us from our relationships. Denial tells you that you are getting away with something and that no one knows. While denial may shield you from hurt, it also keeps us from helping ourselves or the people that we love most. Because we feel like we must protect ourselves and our secrets at any cost, we isolate ourselves, minimizing our risk of exposure and rejection from others. Again, I bring myself back to it. I didn't have friends growing up. I didn't want people to know things about my childhood. It wasn't just that I was poor. It was I couldn't have girlfriends over to my house to spend the night at my house. That wasn't ever going to happen. If I didn't like being in that house with my father, I sure wasn't going to bring a friend in. So, and I began to shield myself and everything, and I isolated myself. And to this day, I find I don't have friends. I don't. I can't tell you one friend. I have acquaintances. I do have people I work with. I know Miss April, but I don't call you, do I, Miss April, and say, hey, how's it going? You want to hang out? I got your phone number. Do I call you? Do I say, hey, Crystal, you want to go hang out? Miss Carol, how many people do you, Miss Carol knows me very intimately. She's at my house almost every day, every other day at least. I know at least twice a week. How many friends have you seen me hang out with, go out with, hear me go out with? None. Because that's the isolation that I still deal with today because of the damage that was done to me. And those are still the pieces. Remember I said, I'm through all these addiction processes and everything, and I keep praying and God keep me strong on it, but I'm not through healing every piece that got broken as a child. And because I haven't healed all of those, I wanted to minimize the exposure and rejection from others as a young child, my denial allowed me to keep that minimization. I didn't have friends that could pay attention and see how many, pills I was taking or how much alcohol I was drinking. It only came down to my kids and my husband. Because my mother lived in another state, my mother-in-law lived 5 acres away from me, it was just my husband and my kids that could hold me accountable. And I could deny. And when your children love you, they're gonna put up with you. My husband put up with me for 15 years. Out of 15 years, I was an addict for 13. So he only got 2 years of a good person. I've been clean and sober since 2017. I wish he knew me today. I really do. Because I am the person that he met back then, but I had to grow and heal that. I couldn't love him the way that I think I can honestly look at it and tell you, I didn't. I did not love him the way that he loved me, looking back on it. And I broke his heart because he didn't want a divorce, but at the same time, he couldn't keep going down the road. He couldn't. And he had warned me and warned me and warned me. So, in Ephesians 4:25, so then, putting my falsehood, let each of you speak the truth with your neighbor, for we are members of one another. Remember, it is always better to tell the ugly truth than a beautiful lie. It's facts. The truth is ugly. It hurts. That's why most people don't like to hear it. A lot of people say that about me. I get labeled mean girl. My daughter gets labeled mean girl. I'm not a mean girl. I'm not stuck up. I'm not any of those things. I just speak the truth. I'm not going to lie to you about anything because I spent too many years lying. I spent too many years lying to people about my childhood. Then when I grew up and I became an adult, I spent too many years lying to everyone to pretend to be someone I was not. Number 6, L. It lengthens the pain. Who wants to feel pain for the rest of their life? We have a false belief that denial protects us from our pain. In reality, denial allows our pain to fester and grow and turn into shame and guilt. Denial extends your hurt and multiplies your problem. Remember, my denial began here and went all the way up. So how many years did I spend just like consumed in denial? And now I'm happy. I'm free. I can't tell y'all, like, every day I get up, I'm excited to go to work. I didn't used to be excited to go to work. It was, oh yeah, I got to get up, I got to go to work. And that meant I couldn't have my addiction like I wanted. I had to spend time going to a job. I had kids I I didn't have time for them. I had an addiction I needed to take care of. So as long as all that was going on, I mean, my ex-husband, he spent 13 years trying to correct it. Look how long that pain was for him. It lengthened the pain for not just myself, it lengthened it for him. And it multiplied my problems. Through all the years, as I continued to deny it, as from the young age and all the shame and the guilt, it multiplied my problems and my hurt. I could have probably stopped right there with that hurt as a child and been okay as an adult. But because I kept secrets and I kept denying, and I learned how to deny this and how to shut the demon up at the same time that was in the background screaming. Because I'll tell you, folks, it doesn't matter. I mean, my father is still alive to this day. Y'all know that. He turned 75 a few weeks ago. You know, I was just telling Mom the other day, he's up for parole next year. Wow. 7 years went by real quick because I went to his 2020 parole. Because just so we all know, life in the state of Florida in 1989, when the crime was started, or where they go back and convict him from, life only meant 25 years. So at 25 years, you came up for parole. Now the state of Florida no longer offers parole. When you get life, you get life. That's it. There's no parole here anymore. But because he was grandfathered into his crime, in 2020, he was convicted in 1999. In 2020, I faced him at a parole hearing, and I won. And he was supposed to come up every 2 years. But because I was able to prove that this man continues to violate me to today, I continue to deal with this man today. So that means them demons are still screaming. When I pop open an email from him that's got all kinds of garbage in it, right? I was able to tell them to tell me, hey, he's not going to keep doing this to you as the victim. He's not coming up in 2 years. We're not seeing him for 7. Well, shoot, I was thinking, yeah. Well, here we are. 2027's right around the corner, and I got a notice last week. Parole hearing's coming. Let's get your documents all together. Now, everyone says, oh, you don't have to go. You're right. I don't. He got life plus 65. And the judge made it where if he was paroled, guess what? You get to step right back on in and serve the next sentence. But I won't be silent. My denial kept me silent for many years. It kept me away from God. It led me through addictions. It destroyed my family. It did a whole lot of things. He is the one that started it all. So I will keep him where he needs to be to the day I die, or he dies, whichever one. But I will attend it. So yes, I'm getting ready to bring on a whole lot of pressure. And I'd have to say I made it in 2020 without turning back and relapsing. And I thought then that I would. And 2027, I think I'm ready for this, you know. So that comes with my work that I've put in to my recovery. It began with the denial piece. I had to stop denying to get to where I am today. And I have to continue to not deny things, even when I think, oh, well, they don't have to know. You know, like the smoking. I could deny, but somebody's gonna know. You know who knows? The good man upstairs and myself. And I don't want the anxiety. I want to sleep at night. I want to be able to lay my head down. So, we have each stumbled over a hurt, hang-up, or a habit. But the race isn't over yet. God isn't interested in how we started. He's only interested in how we finish. So, does anyone have anything to add to it before we do the serenity prayer? Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Did you find that a lot of the denial was surrender as well? Surrendering?
I would have to say yes. I had to surrender myself. I had to surrender myself to God, but I don't think I could have surrendered myself if I kept denying it to myself. That's the key piece, guys, is the denial piece is not, I mean, it is for everyone else, but it's also denying it to yourself. So I think that was the key piece, is admitting to myself and quit denying to myself that I had this problem. And when you do that, then you can surrender to God, and it surrenders everything. It just releases everything. I'd have to say the denial piece is was a huge piece for me.
As long as you deny, you're not gonna surrender. That's the whole purpose of the denial.
Right.
Because you're not going to admit
That you
have
need
a
someone.
problem, or the problem begins with you, or not necessarily begins with you, as in your case, but I mean, until you quit denying, you can't surrender.
Right.
Denial is taking up your whole life and your whole mind.
Right, and my denial, I learned it at a young age how to deny, or how that mechanism works, right? But as far as denying as I got older, it became a different type of denial because I was trying to cover something up. You see what I'm saying? So when you do that, then yeah, if you don't get over that piece, then you can't surrender. If you don't get over, because the denial that I had as a child, that's a different, and that type of, even as a teenager and into adulthood, still that denial is a different type of denial as the addiction denial was. It was, even once I spewed all that stuff out in a courtroom, that didn't make things better. Then my denial kicked in even more because then I had to start hiding things. And when you're hiding things, you can't surrender anything because think about it. If I'm hiding something, do I want to surrender? No, because I'm going to tell you right now, I hid alcohol in places I didn't know you could hide alcohol. I hid my prescriptions in places I didn't know that you could hide them. So I didn't want to surrender my drug. That was my gimme, right? And that's what you have to do, is be able to get rid of the denial so that you can surrender to God. So when you surrender that addiction, God comes in.
I know for me, when I moved from denial to acceptance, I was able to take accountability, and that's where the freedom comes in. Because I know for me, it was like, I'm grown, I can do what I want. Like, I'm somebody's mom, I don't have to listen to nobody, because it was like, I was always a rebel.
Right.
But realizing, like, okay, I might have not wanted to listen to, like, my grandma or, the rules of society, but I was a slave to my addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, you want to be a good mom today? Well, yeah, you gotta go get this.
Right.
Oh, you want to have a job today? Well, you got, and that's where, like, for me, the freedom comes in, and then you are only as sick as your secrets, and the enemy uses that because the first thing it starts whispering is like, you're the only one who feels this way. You better not say anything because they're gonna look at you, they're gonna judge you, nobody's gonna talk to you, like, people are gonna tell you, and you have to say it because there's nothing new. They're like, you're gonna say your secret and somebody's gonna hear it and be like, hey, look, I can help you.
Right.
Like, I've been through this.
Right. And that's the whole thing is sorry, I kind of lost thought there. But during my denial, the secret was no longer my father, right? At some point, it no longer was my father. Everyone knew. I went through a trial. The whole family knew, right? It had to be exposed. The whole family was involved in the trial. So that was not the secret anymore. The secret now became my addictions and hiding that and dealing with that. And because I had learned denial at a young age, it was very easy for me to pick up as an adult to deny to people, or what I thought I was able, if I look back on it, I mean, I could probably go, you idiot, they didn't notice that, All right.
And then also, like, that's why step 5 is so important. It's like, confess to God and a person you trust. That's unfortunate for you that your first confession was in front of 12 people you didn't trust.
Oh, right.
That's terrible, and I'm sorry that happens to you.
No, but that's what makes it, that's why this is so important is, at that moment when I was hurting that bad, because I'll tell you, that trial ripped me apart. And when I was hurting that bad, I couldn't see God. Like, how could God allow this to happen? What did I do to God that created this man to be my father? Why would you say, I'm not mean. I don't do things like this. Why did you send me down this path? I'll tell you why now. Okay? I look back on it now, and I think about it long and hard, and I've met many, many abused children. My 2 sisters being the 2 that I helped raise and get up out of it. It comes down to, you wind up, I forgot what I was actually talking, sorry.
Oh, you said why it was like you couldn't see God, and why it was happening to you.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't see why God put me in that moment, but I see now, right? Going through it and through the pain, I couldn't see God's purpose for me. I couldn't understand why God put me in that lifestyle. But maybe if I look at it in the fact of someone else my age in that situation might not make it to today in front of you. So maybe it was God's reasoning that that's why that was my father. For as bad as I don't like it, I didn't like it, that doesn't mean that he didn't have a purpose. And he took my hurt and healed me in this manner. Coming here on Wednesday nights and talking to you guys, it heals. It allows me to deal with things and continue to cope. Yeah, I didn't go through rehab. I didn't go through any special fancy schmancy stuff, but that doesn't mean I don't have a story that isn't going to touch somebody tonight or next week or the following week that will change people's lives and bring them to God. All right. Anybody else? All right, I guess we will close with the serenity prayer, Mr. Lawton. Everybody's like, we're creaking it up. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as a path to peace. Taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen.